Oh, hey, what's up? Welcome to Lenny Schmidt's Quarantine Comedy. It's good to be here. What's going on? It is Wednesday, the 24th. I believe that's the date. Is that correct? 24th? Yeah, it's a week after St. Patrick's Day. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the show, please do me a favor. Take a second and like the video. It's very important to me. It goes a long way. It helps me. YouTube thinks I'm important if you like the video. Also, can you subscribe to the page? That would help. I'm at, I'm almost embarrassed to say, I'm at 299 subscribers. So if I get one more, I'm at 300. Come on, man. Put me up over the edge. I actually should get 5 more because every time I get 1 or 2 more subscribers, 4 people leave. I don't know how that works exactly. It's very similar to my live shows. When I do a live show, if 8 people walk in, 9 leave. That's, I don't know. Doesn't make much sense to me, I guess. Blah, 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 blah. So do me a favor, like the video, thumbs up. They call it, the kids call it crushing the thumb sign, right? I don't know. We are off next week. I mentioned this last week. We're off next week. We're going to do some revamping and some restructuring and some new videos, new opening. I got to cut that opening down. It's too long. New closing, and my daughter has some stuff she's going to do for the show. So when we come back the following week, which will be the last week of March, it'll be a little bit of a new format, new camera, new software, a couple of things that are new. I thank you guys that are tuned in. What's going on in the news? What can I cover? First, let's cover this. If you watch the show regularly, you know that yesterday I got my second shots for the vaccine, the Pfizer. I got hit with the second Pfizer. So I am now vaccinated. I'm fully 100% vaccinated. That's what I am. So whatever. Or I have a radio chip floating through my bloodstream. One of the two things are happening to me right now. I'm not sure which one it is, but I got the shots. Hey, also everybody talks about everybody's reacting differently to the shot thing. Some people have that second shot, and everyone's like, "Dude, that second one is gonna wipe you out. It's gonna kill you. It's gonna be the worst. You're gonna be sick for days. You're gonna feel terrible." My brother was sick for 6 days, and it was a lot. I gotta be honest with you, I've never felt better. I felt fucking dynamite since yesterday, man. Since I got the shot, I feel great. I went out to lunch yesterday. Last night, I stayed home. I was worried about if there was side effects coming. Nothing. I was up till like 2, prepping my fantasy baseball league. Every year I play fantasy baseball. Let me be more specific. Every year I come in 9th in a baseball league, and this week I'm doing the prep for that league. So that's what I was doing last night, and I feel great. I got up this morning. I worked out today. I feel fantastic. So I'm not saying, and all I'm saying is I feel great. Other people react different ways to the shot. To me, I feel better. I don't know what to say, but I didn't have a cold or anything. Stands to reason that something kicks in a couple days. Some people tell me it's a few days long. Could be a week later. I don't know. I think a lot of it is people scaring you. You know what I mean? So. But I'm 100% vaccinated, as are many people watching the show right now, and many people making comments. I know Robin Greenberg got her shot this week. She was the young lady that everybody knows who Robin is. She runs everything. Okay, sorry, I'm getting text for the fantasy baseball league as we speak. So I feel good. So I've got the shots, whatever it's worth, man. I'm ready to go. I'm fine. So I got the shots mainly because most of you know I work on ships a lot, and I was hoping during this last year to find a way to maybe get off ships, find a way to have but it looks like I'm going to be going back to ships, depending on how long they want you to go out. That's my big thing, because I'm not doing a 3-month tour. I'm not a Gilligan's Island type of guy. That's not happening. I do a couple of weeks. I'll do 2 to 4 weeks. That's it. So that's my deal. Maybe we'll talk to our guest about that too. He has input. He has some thoughts on cruise ship work as well. As well as, also, he has a really cool Milwaukee Brewers hat. Besides that, what else is going on in the news? Not a lot. If you are a cruise follower, like a lot of you guys are, I know they're watching the show. Norwegian just canceled a bunch more cruises, and they've relocated some ships out of the country. There's speculation on what's going to happen. I'm not gonna tell you what is going to happen, but here's what I think is going to happen. A lot of these cruise lines, because they can't sail out of the U.S., they're home porting out of Cozumel in the Bahamas. I think that's what Norwegian's doing. They're doing they might do some cruises overseas, over there in the what do they call that? The big England, the big island. What do they call that over there? England. What do they call England? England? Whatever. Guess maybe that's it. All right, so that's what happened. Norwegian is canceling a bunch of cruises. What else happened? It's the 15th anniversary of Miley Cyrus's Hannah Montana, which is significant to my daughters, really, and that's and I think that's it. I think that's all. Oh wait, what? Oh, I wish I would have read that article before the show started. Okay, all right. Well, let's. Ooh, who's that? Sorry, I got a little confused. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I got lost. All right, folks, let's go to the board. First of all, that's the first thing I want to do is go to the board and see who's here. Say hello because we have quite a viewer. Oh, we have a bunch of viewers. Again, you guys are great. Thank you for tuning in, especially when I screwed up last week and said that this was the week I was off. And you guys actually tuned in and called me on it Monday, where you're like, you're supposed to be off. I think some of you people have like a notification on your phone that lets you know the second I go online, and then you just jump on. That's cool. I don't know if that's cool or stalker-ish. I don't care. Either way, I'm complimented. I feel complimented, humbled, whatever. The Mulligans are here. Hello, Vince and Tammy. Good to see you guys, man. What is up? Brenda Runyon, of course, is here. Hey, Robbie's here. Robbie Gandy Davis is here. She knows our friend, our guest today. She knows him very well. She's a regular at the Zanies there. Robbie, I think I told you I'll be there in July. I just booked Zanies in July. So I got 2 weeks. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, the week in Rosemont, the week of the 8th, I think is the week. My brother Michael's opening for me. That hasn't happened in years. In 15, 20 years, Mike hasn't worked with me. We're excited. So Mike and I will both be in Rosemont together. That's pretty cool. Rachel Zimmerman is here. How are you, Rachel? Good to see you. I saw the picture of risotto on your Facebook page and instantly got hungry. I did get the shot. I felt good. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate that. From Greenberg and Keith Runyon. Yes, we are. There we go. All right, everybody's here. Oh, well, stalkerish. Yes. Okay. Tammy, did you take a funny pill this week? Because you were very funny on the show Monday as well, and now you're just as funny on Wednesday as well. So there we go. I also put a little extra work in the background today. Look, I'm working on the background a little bit more. If you look behind me, you can see it's a little Bears heavy, but I don't care. I don't care today. I like the Chicago flag, my Bears towel, my Buckus jersey. There you go. And a flannel shirt. And if you look really close, you can see the Paul Stanley bobblehead on my dresser, which is always in the background. It's very important to me. So there we go. Folks, let's get to it. We got a lot of things to cover today. Let's go. Let's start right away. First of all, this is your guest is a good friend of mine. Dobie Maxwell is his name. I've known him for years. I've worked with him several times. Worked for him once, I believe, at a club in Wisconsin somewhere. And Andy, he has a book out. He has a Facebook page. He has all kinds of stuff going on. But let's take a look. So let me show you right now what I'm talking about. This is my good friend Dobie Maxwell.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Greg. Thank you. I cannot tell you how delighted I am to be here with you today. This is the best part of my entire day. The few minutes I get to stand here telling you what went wrong. Welcome to my nightmare. Welcome to my nightmare. I think you're going to like it. If no one, someone else, somehow, somewhere, somebody is doing worse than you, that makes your day. I can make your month. I can make your spring. I have the worst luck of anybody walking the face of the earth. Look at me as your one-man self-esteem stimulus package. It's the thing. Luck is everything. Every day in my life is Friday the 13th mixed together with the Ides of March, and there's always a full moon, and there is no escape. Nobody has luck like me. Let me give you an example. I'm the only person I know that has run out of gas in a car wash. Twice. In the same week. That's embarrassing. It's humiliating. Standing next to my car, drenched to the bone, yelling at the top of my lungs, "Come around, come around." Then, of course, I lock my keys in the car, and it's the closing time, and it's a 3-day holiday weekend. My entire life can be summed up in 3 simple words. Worst case scenario.
That is Dobie Maxwell, folks. Let's bring him out here live and in person. The one and only. Let's hear for my good friend, Dobie Maxwell. There he is. Oh, hold on. Wait. Hey. There we go.
Sir Lenny of Schmidt, thanks for having me on.
No problem. I was wondering why the sound on your clip was so low. I turned the wrong sound up. And then when you joined.
Of course you did.
Yeah, I did. And when you joined, you were very loud. And I'm like, oh, my God, it's Dobie.
I'll back off, man. I'll shut my pie hole.
What's up, brother?
But like trying to survive, trying to make $1 out of 59 cents. I got to scavenge for the 59 cents these days. I got my other kidney up on eBay, trying to get a couple bucks for that.
Had a baby, you can sell it.
Yeah.
You know what? I suggest you should go to eBay's a good place, right? Where's the place where they can bid? eBay they can bid, right? I'm not on eBay much.
Yeah, I got a buddy that sells full time on eBay. They just, I think, doubled or tripled the prices. Everything's going up.
Oh, really?
Crazy. He sells, yeah. Yeah, I will into sports cards. A lot of guys do things on the road.
Yeah.
Good. I've been doing it for 20 whatever years.
Yeah.
And it was always regional before eBay. If I'm going to Pittsburgh, well, where can I get Pittsburgh stuff cheap? Anywhere but Pittsburgh. So I load up in Chicago or Milwaukee or wherever I'm at, go to Pittsburgh, sell it at a premium. Then I'm going to St. Louis the next week. So I got Cardinal stuff there. And I made several dollars for years.
Yeah,
eBay came and wiped
smart,
it all
brother.
out.
Oh, it's stupid technology.
It's okay, but I have my little cards, and in grocery stores I buy sports cards. It's Blaze Orange, and I get calls from everywhere. Hey, I got these old baseball cards from 2005. It's like, well, you use them as firewood. They're really not of interest to many people. I mean, I've given your kid, if it, they can learn about baseball. But I hit the mother lode about a month ago. There was a guy that's probably in his mid to late 60s, and he's cashing out, and he's grew up tough. He goes, I used to listen to you on the Loop in Chicago. That's a big radio station in Chicago for those listening not in Chicago. In the 80s, well, I was on the Loop, but I wasn't on in the 80s. But if he thinks I was,
sure,
God bless him.
Go with it, yeah.
And he said, I'm a collector. I've got the biggest collection of It's a Wonderful Life memorabilia in the world, and it's in a museum in Western New York. I'm thinking that could be crap. Okay, then I go over to his house. And he shows me these cards. He goes, I got about 20 more boxes like this. And there was some good rookie cards in there. And I'm thinking, all right, this is a little better than the average stuff. He goes, then when you help me sell these cards, I want you to help me sell these. And he brings out a portfolio. You know who Henry Hill is, do you not?
No, I do not.
Henry Hill was the character Ray Liotta played in the movie Goodfellas.
Oh, okay.
Goodfellas?
Oh, right on. Okay. All right. Okay.
Well,
of course I've seen Goodfellas, yes.
It's a cult type following. So he was friends with Henry Hill, and he said Henry Hill, when he came to Chicago, did not want to stay in hotels and be bothered, so he'd stay at my house. And when he passed away, his girlfriend had no idea what to do with all that stuff, so she put it in a box and sent it to me. So he had about probably 24 of Henry Hill's paintings. Henry Hill was an artist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Whether he's good or not doesn't matter.
No,
because
it's Henry Hill.
Online, people are ghoulish. And I said, they want to go after them. So it's probably, they wanted Gacy's paintings. Henry Hill wasn't a serial killer like Gacy.
Oh, right.
So after I sell these cards, and it's good. It's a full-time job. I have a couple of antique booths. Robbie Gandy Davis is listening. I love Robbie. She's a
Robbie's
sweetheart.
on now, yeah.
One is right near her home. So I'll go out and buy her lunch and then go to my antique booth out there. And it's just piecing it out. And that's what I'm going to do rather than comedy. This gives me thrills. I love it. I've always loved it. Now I'm in the full-time collectible business.
That's good. Good for you. And it's something you like and you're passionate about. That's good. That helps.
Yeah. You know how comedy goes. I mean, I never thought I would get sick of it. One day I woke up and said, enough. When it's not fun anymore, I want out.
Yeah, I've noticed.
I gave my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, I saw just a week or two on Facebook. You mentioned something about are you out for good? You're out.
I don't know about good. I mean, how many times did Muhammad Ali retire? About 14.
Yeah, that's true. You could be like AC. You could be like Kiss.
Kiss farewell tour for the 47th.
19 farewell terms. Absolutely right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna fill in for Ace Frehley on the next Kiss tour while I get my comedy chops back.
I believe that. Go right ahead, man. You could do that. You put the makeup on, they'll never know.
Do that.
You can play the
They'll
licks.
never know. That's exactly right.
Well, dude, that's good. Well, this year's a good year took it out of you. You know what I mean? This whole last year was not a good year for us.
Well, I lucked out because I took a day job because I was sick of the road, man. Yeah. Eric Clapton, I saw a quote with him. I love the gigs. I hate getting there. Right. If Clapton, he's going first class. If he hates it, what is up for comics?
Yeah.
And like you said, you fly to the ship and you go and they look up your ass with a flashlight and then you go through and enough of that. Somebody said, I don't know who it was, it said, ship life is prison with a buffet. I don't know who said it.
Every dancer I know have said that. Every dancer I know says that on the ship. I think it's like a fancy prison. They go, it's a fancy prison. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, there's a lot of good things about it. When you cruise for a week, you don't realize there's a lot. But that traveling thing, you're right. Well, that was the reason Phil Jackson retired. That was the main reason he got out of basketball. And, you know what I mean? And a buddy of mine, a guy I think you know, Jeff Wayne, comic Jeff Wayne.
I love Jeff Wayne. Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. I love Big Daddy. He's the greatest. He ran into Tony Bennett, he was a big fan of Tony Bennett. He got to talk to Tony Bennett backstage. And he said to him, he saw him in San Francisco. He's like, why don't you tour more? He's like, the road? Why? The road. He goes, I don't want to get on a plane. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't, it's, and you're right. Guys like Tony Bennett and Phil Jackson, they're traveling a little better than we are. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
They're not exactly doing Spirit or Southwest or, or any other stuff they're doing. They don't have a punch card.
There's no number in the name of the hotel they stay at.
Exactly. Right. There's no punch card for Fox Rent-A-Car.
They're not saying at the Ritz 6.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Ritz extension with the EXT in quotes. You know what I mean?
We'll leave the caviar out for you.
the caviar. Yeah, I love the Ritz 6 would be good because they would pass it down actually it would be 6 pass downs. What it would be, that caviar has made its way through 6 different Ritzes before it got to you. So you be aware of that before you dig in.
It's on a Ritz.
It is.
Ritz cracker.
What do you want? It's a Ritz.
Now, let me ask you this, man. I mean, last time I saw you in person, we had lunch in Cozumel, and it was beautiful and fun, and we had a lot of laughs. Do you like the cruise ship life? Some comics do, some don't, and there's no right or wrong answer. What do you think?
I like I look at everything. I look at everything this way, man. I try to live in the moment and accept everything that's kind of happening and do the best I can with the situation I'm in. There's a lot of things about ships I don't like, and there's a lot of things I do. And the things I do like, I focus on. Like I write a lot on a ship. I work out a ton, but I turn over material like crazy. So all I do is do a show, tape it, listen to it, and then write the next day, and then go to the gym, and then sometimes I go to the bar, sometimes I go to a port, depending on the port. So I just focus on the ones I like Grand Turk. I love Grand Turk. I get off of Grand Turk all the time. NASA, not so much. I don't care. I'll just, you know what I mean? I'll stay in the gym, then no one's there, then I'll go work out. So I focus on the things I like to do. It's just that some of the things that you don't like to do overweigh the things that you like to do sometimes. You know what I mean? They're a little bit
exactly.
They're a lot more strict with the entertainers than I would think they would. And it's not like I want to wreck the hotel room or anything like that. But sometimes there's just a lot of rules you follow that don't make sense, and you're like, all right, whatever. So a lot of times I just don't go anywhere. I don't do a lot. Also, I'll be honest with you, Dobie, I don't have a lot of choices, man. You know what I mean? I make a pretty decent living on those cruise ships, and I have 2 teenage daughters that live with me, and that's my main source of income. So I find a way to enjoy the cruise ship.
Good for you, man. I respect that a lot. I do.
Thank you, man. I mean,
I seriously, because a lot of comics, they dig it, they love it, and I'm hats off to them. I don't enjoy more things than I do enjoy. So I thought, okay, I was grateful for the opportunity. But time to do something else. Of course, I was on one ship. I don't know if I should mention the name. It's better known as Walmart on the Water, the chain that I work for.
It's the one I work for the most, actually.
Yeah. Are the other ones different? That's the only one I've worked for.
That's what I was going to say. Is like different lines are different situations. Like there's Norwegian is a lot different. Norwegian, you get a bigger cabin, kind of almost like a Swedish type thing.
That's the thing. It's the cabin, man.
Yeah. Sometimes you get
it's a prison
really
cell.
nice.
No window.
Yeah, not Norwegian. And you know what's even better? I was on Princess, and on Princess, you're just a guest. I mean, you literally you have a balcony. You walk up. I was able to. This is a funny story. I was at a crew party, and on the Princess ships, they still have the they call them the it's called the Filipino black market is what it's called. Okay, so what it is, every ship used to have this. Every ship used to have guys late at night. And there were guys, they were stewards. There were guys that were Filipino guys that had a room, and in that room they had everything. Whatever you needed, they had. A bottle of whiskey, vodka. In the old days, they had drugs. They don't have drugs anymore. They're a lot stricter.
But 72 Billy Williams card?
They got a 72 Billy Williams card. They got them all. They got all the crap you need. And if you're up late at a crew party or a cabin party, you call them, and someone will run down some liquor for you. Someone will bring you some liquor, and then you pay them for it. This particular day, you don't find that on a lot of ships anymore. Carnival doesn't have that at all. Norwegian doesn't really have it, but some Princess ships still have it. So I just left Ireland. I was overseas, and I was on a ship, a Princess ship. And late at night, we couldn't reach the steward. We couldn't get a hold of the market. They were closed down. So they look at me and they go, "Can you go get us some beers?" I go, "I can't go get you beers." And they go, "Yeah, you can." I go, "Are you sure?" And they go, "Yeah." So I'm like, okay. So I walk with 2 guys through the catacombs, the back area of the ship, and walk up the middle hallway and to the door, security door of the nightclub that's open. They open the door, security's standing right there, and there's a guy standing next to me and goes, "He's going to get us some beers." And the guy looks at me and goes, I have no name tag, too. You don't wear name tags or anything on Princess. The guy goes, "What do you do?" I go, "I'm the comic. I have a show tomorrow night." He's like, "Oh, yeah, come on." So he walks with me to the bar. I buy like 20 beers on 2 trays. Security helps me carry them back to the door. I open the door, I walk in, hand him to the guy, and I say goodbye to security. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye. And I go downstairs, and that doesn't happen
Good to
on
be
other
the
lines.
king.
Yeah, there you can get away with that, but on other lines you can't do that. You know, Carnival, they're like, if you want, I don't even go out on Carnival anymore past midnight. I go right back to my cabin. You know, it's like security, they're ready to jump all over you there. You know, the second you're talking to a guest, like, what are you doing? And Norwegian, you have a curfew. The entertainers. Yeah, you have I want to say it's a 1 o'clock curfew. I'm not entirely sure, but at 1 o'clock.
I did not know that.
Or
Weird,
no,
wild stuff.
It's a 2 o'clock curfew, and at 1:30 they cut off your card, like the card thing. So if you're in a bar somewhere at 1:30 and you go to get liquor, they go, you can't get any more liquor, and they cut you off.
They probably have problems in the past, and you're suffering for it.
Well, that's always the case. It only takes one or two
Sure.
shitheads to screw it up, and then suddenly we're all in trouble. You know what I mean? Now none of us can do anything. Right. So, and basically, a lot of guys bitch about it. Dude, I just follow the rules. I don't give a shit. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? I believe this. If you accept a gig and you know there's rules attached to the gig, then you have no room to bitch about them. You know what I mean? If you accepted the gig, it's kind of like when somebody takes when you accept a gig for X amount of dollars, you can't complain about the money because you accepted the gig.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So just be aware of it. And one big thing is, here's a big one that came up, is a lot of guys, you know, like I smoke pot, a lot of pot. Everybody smokes pot. I used to smoke a lot of pot. And you can't, on certain lines, Carnival, you get drug tested. You can get randomly drug tested on Carnival, and you can lose your job because you were smoking pot 3 weeks before you even got on the ship. It's a reality. Wow. So I know a lot of guys who complain about that and then try to cheat the drug. They have all these ways to cheat a drug test. You know what I mean? And I just stopped smoking pot. That's what I did. I was like, I go, well, I'm just not going to smoke pot. I go, I got kids to feed. I can't risk, you know, you can't be bringing a vial of fake urine on a ship because I want to get high at a party.
I've been selling my urine on the black market for the last couple of years. So
there you go. Good for you. Well, there's a whole nother market for you.
It's like 50-year-old Scotch. My pure Wisconsin. My urine. It's like that little head with cheese on it from Wisconsin.
Do you have the bottle wax? Do you seal it with wax, like you know what I mean? Just a classic.
Yes, I'll have a paraffin. Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely do it. Do like very classy, and like have your initials at the top, like DM, a DM original. Well, thanks.
Oh yes, it's highly sought after. Well, I know. I mean, I think it's a little ridiculous. I don't even smoke pot. I think it's stupid. So when you're on a cruise ship,
it is dumb.
It's not going to do anything.
Well, I think it's stupid for any entertainer, but you know what? It's a rule. It's a rule.
It is a rule.
If you accept the gig, follow the rules. And it's not. So I never, you know what I mean? I'm like, I get it. My brother's. I just had a conversation with my youngest brother today. He's another one that hates laws. He goes, "This law is stupid." And I go, "I agree that law is stupid. However, it's a law, and you have to follow it. And until they change the law, you know what I mean? You got to follow it. The argument that it's stupid is not an argument. It's not. You know what I mean?
You preach sense, Lenny. You should run for office, man. You're talking logic, buddy.
Too many skeletons in my closet would come on.
I know. That would be fun, wouldn't it?
Dude, are you kidding me? How many, dude, both of us in our closets, 2 road comics. You don't have an idea of the stories they'd pull out. Here's a story from 89.
3-car garage. My closet is so big. Rented out as a storage unit.
So how you do? Are you up in, are you home, Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yeah, no, I'm between Milwaukee and Chicago. I was in Kenosha for a while. In fact, I took the day job at a convenience store. Okay. And the convenience store, it's not like Apu on The Simpsons. This is a big time, $30,000 a day. They do 3,000 people. It's constant busy. And it was a half a mile away from the shooting that happened in Kenosha.
Oh, wow.
And
really?
One of the kids in the kitchen, you know, the kid, he's 32. To me, he's a kid.
It's a kid.
And he comes out, he's got all the police scanners and stuff. He goes, "Hey, a cop just shot a guy in the back 7 times a half a mile from here." And out of context, you think, wow, why would he do that? That's weird. Yeah. And about an hour later, some kid comes in, like a high school age kid, and he's got it on his phone. It's already on YouTube, that video. And I looked at it, I'm thinking, boy, this is not going to make the cops look good. But I do have a cop up in Milwaukee, a friend of mine, it's her and her husband are both police officers. And she said, "I'm not saying there's not bad officers, but when you see any kind of video," this is before that particular one, "when you see a video like that, just know that there's a context that leads up to it. I'm not saying it's good or bad, so just look at it with a grain of salt."
Right.
And that happened. And after that, about an hour later, the cop cars started coming in every direction, and it was just pandemonium. Right. You know, the riots and everything happened a week later. It was just stunning to watch it take place.
Right. Yeah.
So I moved about 15 miles west.
Okay, yeah.
Smallest town I've ever lived in.
Far enough.
It's about 6,000 people. It's Mayberry, man.
What town are you in? Where are you at?
Bristol.
Okay.
Bristol, Wisconsin.
You said you're west. Okay. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I don't know if you're Highway 50. If you've ever been
No,
around.
no.
It's
Yeah,
right
I got
between Milwaukee and
family.
Chicago.
I got family in Trevor, Wisconsin. I got a whole bunch of family in
Trevor.
Trevor. Yeah. Whatever. No, it's Trevor. I call
Gateway
it
to
Trevor.
Trevor.
Shut up.
Trevor.
Is it-
Trevor's
oh,
the guy.
Trevor.
Trevor's
Trevor's
the
the gateway to
mayor.
Trevor.
Trevor's
My
the
bad.
town.
I apologize. You're right.
Mayor
Good call.
Trevor. Okay. Well, that's Trevor's about maybe 10 minutes from me.
Yeah, that's where I got a ton of family there, like a lot. In fact, most of them.
Nice people over that way, man.
Oh, they're great. They're awesome.
Seriously,
a lot
I never
of
lived over this way. Live in a small town. I love it.
I love small town, dude. The older I get, the more I like that vibe of
Me too.
small. I mean, even where I live now, it's LA and it's crazy, but I'm south of the boulevard by like a couple of blocks, so it's quiet. There's no parking on my street, which I love. You know what I mean? I don't want parking on my street.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody parking
Right.
here going to parties. I want none of it. So, yeah. So, but yeah, we got a bunch of. But most of my family, a lot of them, they go to a lot of cruises. But a lot of them, they're all they're EMTs and nurses. They work at the hospital there in Kenosha. So I got a whole bunch of
Tough
stories
gig,
from
man.
them. Dude, especially it's. I mean,
Much respect. Tough gig. I respect that. That's hard.
I don't know how they. It's a good thing there's people like that because if I was that if it came down to me helping and saving people, a lot of people would die. You know what I mean?
What's the old joke? You gotta suck the poison out. What does the doctor? Doctor says you're gonna die.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die. Yeah, I couldn't.
Says you.
I don't care what's wrong with you, man. If you get the sniffles, I bet you're not gonna make it. You're not.
Nope.
I don't want to be touching other people. You know what I mean? People you don't know, and people complain all the time.
Coughing, sneezing, wheezing on you. Exactly right.
Dude,
I mean, think about the ships. The ships was a petri dish. Were a petri dish before COVID.
Yeah.
I know people. I heard stories. People getting quarantined. What's it going to be like now? I don't know.
It won't be. I don't think it. Like I've been on ships. They've never. Like they were always on top of that Nerovirus thing. That one, and that spreads. That spreads like wind. You know what I mean? Somebody gets that, and they shut it down pretty quick. I think the ships are getting a bad rep. However, if you're stuck in that cabin for a long period of time, that's why I try to get out and walk on the deck and get some fresh air every day. You know what I mean? Because I was falling, especially those long crossings. I did some long crossings where you're on the ship for 5 sea days. And, dude, I could be stuck in the cabin for 3 days and not leave. And you just, you're a hermit. That's not healthy to be down there. You know what I mean?
Come on, like the Unabomber. You got a big growth.
Yeah, it's not
growth
good at all.
hairs.
Yeah. People are knocking on the door. What do you want? Not coming out for anything. Well, I'm wondering,
Freedom.
they got to do something about the ventilation and shit now. They got to redo all these ships. There's a lot of stuff they're going to have to change, I would think, right?
I do. Yes. I mean, think about it. They said the world is upside down now with all this, and when the world is upside down, the underdog is on top. So people like us, I mean, kudos for doing this show, man. I really respect you for doing it because it takes a lot of effort. Number one, but you just didn't sit around and bitch. You did something about it.
Yeah.
I mean, same with me. I did a lot of projects and stuff, and I think that a lot of comics did not do productive things. I'm not pointing fingers. It's just that the ones who did, it's like I said, you roll with it. It is what it is.
Right.
We can't change it. You got to look at this as the biggest opportunity in history because for somebody, it will be.
Yep. No, that's one of the reasons I started the show, dude, was to do something. And I try to talk to other comics about that. Like, of course, it sucked that the clubs were closed, and of course, it sucked that the live shows were gone. But what are you going to do? Are you going to sit on your couch and mope, or are you going to go, well, fuck it, I'm going to find something else. I'm not going to. I always tell my kids get frustrated. COVID's been tough on them. They're teenagers. I always find it as a dare. Like the world's daring me to fail. I'm like, screw you. I'm not going to just sit here and let this happen. And I talk to a lot of people on the show, but I've talked to a handful of people who don't do anything, or they're just waiting for it to come back. And I'm like, man, you got to get out. You got to do something. You got to get up. You got to,
Think about this situation though. In the past, it has happened over and over again. I mean, when silent movies were big, there were stars that were laying more pipe and then the talkies came out, and some of them adapted and some didn't.
Yep.
And then
radio and TV is the
along,
same thing. Radio,
It's the same thing. The computer came along and YouTube, but that's always going to be a process. And those who can adapt and survive will.
Right.
Move on. The rest of us won't.
Right. But one thing also that's encouraging about that, the one thing that has stayed constant from even in the early days is that is live entertainment. And live entertainment always finds a way to come back. And I think live entertainment is huge. You know what I mean? I can't wait for it to come back. I'm not sitting around waiting for it to come back, but I can't wait till we're back to a full room of people and I'm doing shows in front of a crowd. There's a big part of that I miss. I miss a lot of that.
Now, have you done any shows living in California since it was the last time you were on stage?
Well, it's different now because I just did. I shot a dry bar in Salt Lake City 2 weeks ago, so I flew up to Salt Lake and did that. I just started doing some stuff. I did Vegas 6 weeks ago, but before that, I did October. I did a week in Wichita and a week in Oklahoma City, and before that, I did one gig in June in San Clemente, and that's all the live shows I've done in the last year. That's everything.
That's more than most comics.
I just the last few weeks has picked up more, and I just recently booked like 6 weeks of stuff. So I got Chicago coming up, I got Vegas again, I got Rosemont, and I got Little Rock is coming in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or whatever. So
it's cool you're working with your brother. It's like Ozzy and Jose Canseco on the same team. Then they play on the A's for a couple of.
I'm excited because we worked together for years, and we used to work the road together for years, and I always tell the story. He hated it. He hated back. This is 20 years ago, 25 years ago, maybe. I don't know. It was a long time ago, but he hated it because he doesn't drink, and I do. And I can drink a lot. And he was the designated driver every night, and he hated it. It drove him crazy. It just drove him insane. And I was much younger back then. I was an idiot. I was 28. You know what I mean? I didn't give a shit what I was doing. I was just crazy. And him and I have had our ups and downs, and we went a long time. My family's weird. We went 10 years without talking to each other. I mean, we did a literally thing. But him and I are very tight. We talk a lot, and I'm looking forward to working with him. It's going to be great.
I'm going to quote you on that. I said probably the first time I worked with you. I don't know if you do that joke in your act anymore, but you did. You said this exactly what you said. I come from the kind of family where we have an argument, we don't talk to each other for 10 years. Yeah. That's my family. My sister and I didn't talk for 20 years. Yeah, and we got back in the last couple of years. And I have a half brother who it was probably 30 years, and then our other brother. So the four of us. And I didn't live with them. My dad was a biker, like most comedians. We're just fucked up, dented cans. Right. And it was funny now that we're back together. And in the last, I have a place to go on Christmas, which I never did before. And that methadone that comedy is, the love that we didn't miss out, I have that now, so I don't need to go on stage anymore. I never thought I'd say that, man. I'm just being honest.
That's good.
I just talked. Today was my brother's birthday. He had a stroke. He's in the nursing home. But I called him and I told him I loved him, and it was great. I talked to my other two siblings, and that is where the hole was. Yeah. It wasn't. Whatever you think. I don't know if you ever worked with Rosie O'Donnell. I was prepared not to like her. She could not have been any sweeter and nicer and easier to get along with. We worked in Florida together, and she said, my dad and I, we're just never going to get along. We started talking about that. I said, well, she was just starting on her rise, getting her show and stuff. I said, well, you better sit down while he's alive, because if you don't, it's like putting a Band-Aid on your face when it's your arm that's cut. Yeah. Where's the pain coming from? Yeah. And I don't know if she ever did it. I hope she did, but she was having problems with her dad too. It's always a shitty father. I don't know why it is. I hope your dad was good.
No, my dad was an alcoholic. He was bad. He died when I was 14. My dad passed away, but my mom divorced him before because of that. He was a bad drunk. He was a bad boozer. I mean, he drank a lot, and then we got kicked out. We were home. I just had this conversation. Rob Little and I talked a little bit. Rob just made up with his. I'm sorry. His dad came back into his life recently, and. That's always weird. I noticed that happens a lot, I guess. Like for me, I went through that with my mom, where we didn't talk for like 13 years. And then but I realized I had a similar realization, which was that life is short. Why it takes more energy to carry around anger than it does. However, it also takes two people. You know what I mean? You can't just go back and go, hey, I love you, and then they're still shitheads to you. Do you know what I mean? It's got to work. It's got to be both ways.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
See, otherwise, you're just getting abused and beat up. So, you got to make your own decisions in life. It's tough, though. Family sucks. You know that. It's just, you know what I mean? It can be weird. I have like 3 or 4 friends that are from perfect families, and I'm always in awe of them. You know what I mean? Everything is great. They get along really well. You know what I mean? And mine's not. Mine's always like, you don't know who's talking to who, and you're juggling which brother to call, and I had 2 brothers hang up on me today. It's just, you just never know.
How many brothers you got? How big is your family?
I got 4 younger brothers. 4.
Okay,
and
wow.
And Mike and I went yesterday. He came with me. He got his shot too. So him and I went and did the vaccine thing together for the last 3 weeks. So we did.
Very unusual for a comic to be the oldest sibling. Usually we're the youngest. I'm not saying you can't be the oldest, but it's unusual. So good for you. Cool.
No, thanks, brother. Well, they were all my brother. My mom was funny, so that's, you know what I mean. So the brothers are all. Our funniest brother doesn't do stand up, but I don't think he could deal with it. He would kill a person. He would literally snap what and just choke someone to, you know what I mean? He would literally punch a guy at a show. The crap that we've had to deal with.
Think it's part of the act. Oh, that guy's funny.
Yeah, he's hilarious. The way he look at that. Is that real blood? That's amazing. That's really
like wrestling. Oh yes,
that's fantastic. Oh, he's gonna. Oh, it's a suplex.
That was funny. I used to book pro wrestling. I don't know if people that know me know that. And I was a ring announcer, and I ended up buying a ring in the truck, and I booked the wrestlers for about a year.
No
And
way,
it's funny
really?
to me.
Oh, that's the
Oh
best.
yeah, yeah, 91 and 92, and it was in Wisconsin, and the guys that would go on TV and lose to the Hulk Hogan's of the world, those were my guys, and they all
Right.
lived around the Wisconsin area.
Right.
So I put together and when those guys would say, okay, we're going to have a match, they'd think, okay, now you put me in a headlock and then you throw me off the top rope. I'm thinking, okay, I gotta rent a hall, I gotta make posters, I gotta go on the radio, that kind of stuff. So they didn't have a guy like that. It's like comics,
Yeah.
You think about the show, don't think about the business.
Right. Right.
So the bad guys in the ring were always the nicest guys outside the ring. You take your kids there, you'd let them watch your dog.
Oh, really?
Mr. America, Mr. America, that's the molester. That's stay away from the good guy.
That makes sense.
The all-star good guy, the baby face that's called in the wrestling business. It's
Right.
like, Bill Cosby sets himself up as the good guy. It's like, I don't know why that is. All the
Yeah.
TV evangelists are total bags of shit minus the bag. They're
Yeah,
the ones
yeah.
that set themselves.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's
Yep.
the image. They get to live that fake image. That's like Facing the Crowd. You ever see that movie? You've seen that movie, right? With
Oh man,
with a
yes, Andy
brilliant
Griffith,
movie.
yeah.
Oh, it's a brilliant movie. It's brilliant. But that's exactly
Somebody said
story.
that's more Andy than Sheriff Taylor was.
Oh, is it really? I didn't know anything. I know
I
about
just
that.
heard that from people. I guess he hasn't had a dark side. From
Did he have a dark
most
side?
comics do. All comics do, I think.
All comics do. Yeah, because he came from Stan. He was a comic first before he did acting.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Storyteller. Yeah. Yeah, Face the Crowd is a great movie, basically based on that. That was phenomenal. That's funny because then he went on to do Matlock at the back end. He's still around,
Yeah.
right? Is he Andy Griffith?
Andy. Nope, he's in the big green room in the sky.
Oh, is he? All right, okay.
He's playing checkers with Barn.
Is it him and Barney are hanging out? That's good.
I don't
Good
think
for them.
anybody in that show. Ron Howard's about the only one that's left, I think.
Oh wow.
You're talking 60 years ago when it started. So they
Sure,
had to
and
be
everybody on the
probably in
show
their
was
30s
older.
then.
Everybody was on the show.
Yeah.
On that show was. I just saw a weird promo.
I think Ernest
picture.
T's still living. He's 147.
Is he? Like, I'll never
Ernest
die.
T. Bass.
You know what? It's the liquor. I'm telling you, man. It pickles your insides.
Pickles your innards.
I just saw a promo picture from the Andy Griffith show, which was Andy Griffith, and he had his arms around the two girls, his girlfriend and Barney's girlfriend, and they were kissing him on the cheek. And I've never seen that picture before, and it was kind of, it was a little, it was a little questionable for that time of, you know what I mean, from the 50s. I'm like, wow, look
I
at
think
that.
that ran in Hustler 1961,
It was-
the April issue.
It's
Black
been
and white
banned. It was
Hustler.
banned in 13 states. It was completely. Oh, that's the
Think
best.
of the power those guys had, though, on network TV when there's 3 channels, no cable, no
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah,
I mean, Johnny Carson, when you were on Carson, no wonder it made a career because everybody saw you.
right. Well, like Carol
Somebody
O'Connor.
told me that one. Go ahead.
Carol O'Connor. He had a ton of power. You know what I mean? And when doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And Norman and anybody that developed the shows back then, Norman Lear was the big, and he was a genius. You know what I mean? That stuff. But you're right. There's 3 channels, and I was. Oh, you know what? I was reading an article somewhere. Somebody was. Oh, damn it! Somebody was telling the story. It wasn't Rob Lowe. It was somebody else. It was no. It was. I think it was Rob Lowe. He was on a show. Yeah, it was a Rogan podcast. Rob Lowe was on a show. His first sitcom.
Wow.
It was the first sitcom he was on. He played a kid, and he said something. We had something like 20 million viewers a night, and we got canceled because it just wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Wow.
for.
Yeah.
There's only 3 channels, and they were like, "That's insane." You know, the highest numbers now are like 6 million, maybe 5, right? There's not 25 million people watching one show anymore.
Somebody said, well, when Seinfeld was on, it had a 20 share of the audience at the time.
Yeah.
And they said some other show like F Troop or something back in the 60s that had a 4 share. More
Right.
people saw F Troop than the 20 share that saw
Yeah.
Seinfeld because there were so many other choices
Yeah, there's
to
that-
do.
Yeah, there's 700.
And that was the
channels.
90s. That was not even now.
Right now, there's even more, and now there's different. There's networks and stuff. There's Me TV, and there's all these different. Everybody's got. Well, shit. Look at this. This is a show on YouTube. There's dozens of shows on YouTube right now that I hear about every once in a while. I'm like, really? And I'll be out of the loop. I'll go, I've never heard of that show. And like, well, he's done 4,000 episodes. I'm like, oh, geez. All right, my bad. I didn't realize. There's just so many platforms out there, man. But it's cool. But I think it's also cool because you don't have to be the biggest, or you don't have to be the biggest anymore. Now it's more of a niche thing. You know what I mean? If you're on YouTube and that's why podcasts are so popular. And Adam Carolla's done so well, where he does a car podcast and another, because people that like cars will tune into the car podcast, and people that like or dating talk will tune into the dating podcast. And so it's been not only is there more channels, but the type of entertainment has been diluted, or not diluted, divided.
It's media communism. Would you not agree?
Media communism? That's a pretty good point.
Media communism, in that there's going to be no big, huge stars anymore, Michael Jackson or
that's a
Frank
good point.
Sinatra or whatever. And if Lenny Schmidt can make a money and is a living doing his show like this,
Yeah.
I say that's good.
Sure, there's thousands and thousands of people that are doing stuff online content right now, and they're making a living. You know what I mean? It's not, you don't have a house in Malibu, you're not the cover of People magazine, but you're actually doing pretty well. You know what I mean? You can pay your bills. Good. Yeah, it's not good. I'm not one of those guys right now, but other people are.
You're on the way though. You're doing it.
I'm doing it all. Other guys do. Well, shit. Look at Jimmy Pardo's made a huge name for himself with his podcast.
Kudos to Pardo. He figured it out first, so he was one of the first to get on the podcast bandwagon, and he had a good one. He's a funny guy.
He was one of the first 3 podcasts, I think.
Really?
I don't know.
Good for him. I mean, I respect him. He played his cards right.
No, he was
and
smart.
As did you. I mean, you live in a town like Chicago. It's very, how can I say? It's easy to live there. It's a big town, but there's towns around it, so you can do comedy. So, do you want to go to Duluth with your check engine light on for $200 and play comic, or do you want to go to L.A. and bring out your credit card and buy the last round of drinks at the Improv, hoping somebody will come in there and see you? That's the smart move. So, right. I mean, a lot of Chicago, I lived out there for a year and I liked it and I ran out of money. I'm thinking, well, do I want to work at Midas Mufflers or do I want to go back? I'll come back to Chicago, to LA. Yeah. I never did.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's no kudos. When did you move out there?
I moved out originally in 80, I want to say 84. And I was out here till early 90s, 91. And then I came back to Chicago. And by then, I started doing stand-up out here in L.A. and I went back to Chicago. And that's when I was doing, the Comedy Cottage and all those rooms that were going on. And there were 6 clubs. And so I started working those clubs. And then I came back, and I stayed in Chicago and studied improv at the I.O. and eventually moved back to L.A. in 99. So I've been here since 99, this time.
Man, good for you.
Yeah, so I left and
came back. You've been in L.A. almost longer than you've been in Chicago.
I don't know. Yeah, LA's what? Where are we at now? 20, 29, 21 years? Nah, 21 years. 21 years. I'm 56.
But then it was 7 before that, right? 84 to 91.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess you're right. Wow.
Plus, in a past life, you lived there about 38 years before you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in a past life I was Rock Hudson.
And you were Ted Bundy. No, he's already dead.
You had to go for the mass murderer? Okay.
I'm sorry. I meant King Kong Bundy, the wrestler.
Much better. Thank you very much. I'll take that one. Absolutely.
Better. That's a good one. Yeah.
Did you ever book King Kong
Bundy?
You like
LA? No, see, a lot of Midwestern guys don't like LA. I loved it out there. I really liked the lifestyle. I thought the vibe was good. Enjoyed it.
I love it. I like the vibe. It's it's kind of a mess right now, but with COVID's turned, things are messed up here a little bit. We got a really bad homeless issue here, and but the weather is perfect. I always like the entertainment vibe. I like the industry vibe. You know what I mean? Even when even though I do a lot of shifts, when I'm home, when I was auditioning and I was going to the Improv and hanging out with other comics, I love it that we're all in the industry. You know what I mean? I love the energy of that. I also love the feeling of the lottery almost, where you know what I mean? I always say you're one phone call away from booking a huge gig. If you're out there getting seen and auditioning, you're one phone call away from getting a huge gig. And that's kind of, I lived off that energy.
And rightfully so. I mean, I remember being out there, and in fact, you might have been part of it. The comedians would get together on Sunday and watch football. And I couldn't, being from the Midwest, 10 o'clock a.m. football, I hated it the first 2 weeks. After that, it's like, oh, this is great. The late game's over by 5. I can still go do a set somewhere.
Yeah, that's when it's the best. Is you're out of there. Like now they have a night game, and even that's over at like 8:15. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's nothing, right? Yeah, that's why I got.
And you call your friends at like like dinner time. It's like, oh, dude, I'm going to bed. So that's the thing too. It's just it's its own world.
Yeah. I like it out here.
And so at first time I went into a post office, I saw headshots. I was just gonna buy stamps or whatever. The first time I'm thinking, oh, okay, this you don't see this in Rockford.
Yeah, you don't see that really in Rockford. You're right.
Anywhere else. Yeah.
No, but then also everybody out here has a screenplay or something too. You know what I mean? So everybody's got, the key to living in LA and surviving. I always tell people this is have a good circle of friends, because there's a lot of, first of all, there's a lot of people who are full of shit. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that I got this deal, that deal, a lot of name dropping and that. I can't deal with that. I can't stomach it. So if you get friends that you trust, I guess that goes for anywhere in the world if you think about it. But here in LA especially, you got people you really
especially
trust.
There.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I was out there, I was visiting somebody. We were just having lunch at I don't remember where it was. And I saw, was it Jeff Conway from Taxi? Is that the guy?
Yeah.
So he's just kind of sitting out there looking like a homeless dude, like he hasn't bathed in about a week. And I'm thinking, geez. And then about a day later, I saw Jan Michael Vincent. and he looked worse than Jeff Conway.
Yeah, he never
and I'm
looked
thinking,
good in
okay, these
person.
guys had careers. I mean, they had something. I'm thinking if these guys look like an old catcher Schmidt, it's like, geez, that was a wake up call. I thought.
Yeah, that's true, man. That's but some of these guys too. It's not like the other illusion that people have out here is like you go, you see someone, you go, whatever happened to that guy, and you don't realize he's like producing behind the scenes. You know, a lot of if guys are smart, they go behind the scenes or behind the camera, and then they do they write or they direct. Like a ton of comics and a ton of especially comedic actors moved into directing sitcoms. Like a lot of those guys, Michael. Lemble, I can't remember his last name. He was Captain Cool of Captain Cool and the Kongs. Remember Captain Cool and the Kongs?
I don't.
It was a Sunday morning. It was a Sunday. It was a Saturday morning cartoon show when they used to do Saturday morning blocks of, Saturday
They don't do that anymore, do they?
No, no, they don't. No, but it was he had one on one channel was Captain Cool and the Kongs, and they would show a bunch of cartoons, and it was kind of like I want to say Michael Lemwick, I think was his name, but he went on to direct a whole bunch of stuff. So a lot of these guys move on to directing. You know what I mean? Paul Michael Gleiser, I read for him a couple times. He moved on to directing. These actors they disappear from in front of the camera, and then they start directing shows, and that's where
Very
they're
smart.
at. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
It's kind of like ball players. A mediocre ball player, you make the majors. Even if you take one at bat in the majors, or throw one pitch,
Right.
Very impressive.
Sure.
And these guys, they become coaches and stuff like that, and they have maybe 25-year career. I respect that. Same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
Look at
absolutely
Don
the
Zimmer.
same thing. Well, plus it's also it has to do with liking the life in the game. You know what I mean? The whole process of it. I mean, all of Hollywood is a process. Like I was always really, and it wasn't even about booking for me. Before I started doing ships, I had a great age. I was going out maybe 5 to 8 times a week auditioning, and I loved auditioning and I loved acting class. Those two things didn't pay anything, but I loved doing them. It was part of the life. You know what I mean? It was part of what I did, and I loved that lifestyle a lot. I really enjoyed it.
Who taught the class that you took, or classes?
I took the main one I studied with. And here in LA was a woman by the name of Candy Herman, and I went with her specifically because Steve Seagren went with her, and Steve suggested her to me, and she was really good working with stand-up. She worked with John Mendoza. She worked with some other people. So I went off Steve's recommendation, and then I stayed with her for years. So that's the main.
If I could just say one thing, unsolicited, Steve Seagren started his career in Milwaukee. We started about 3 weeks apart from each other, and he's a few years older. And I looked at him, I'm thinking, this guy has got all the natural chops, and just you read his act.
Yeah.
And what is this? And when he does it, it is magnificent. That is the biggest compliment I can pay anybody. He's loaded with talent. Then he was a great actor, and he's now a fantastic painter too.
He's a great painter, great artist.
Nothing but respect for Steve Seagren.
He was one of the funniest guys I've ever seen in my life. Here's a great story about Steve. We used to hang years ago when I first moved here. We used to hang out at. We hung at the Improv on Thursday nights, and that was like the hangout night that we all went. And that particular night, there was a showcase for the Aspen Comedy Festival, and Steve was on. Steve had a spot, and I was sitting at the bar, and I go, hey, are you excited about the? Are you? He goes, nah, I don't care. I go, why? He goes, because I've auditioned for him 9 times, and they've turned me down every single time. I go, really? I can't believe that. He goes, yeah, I don't know, because I don't know. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to leave. They're going to turn me down. Happens all the time. I'm like, okay. So I go in the room and wait for him to go up and say, I want to watch a set. And people before him are going up and they're struggling, and there's young kids. And in LA, when you're doing shows, it's a lot of, I'm a manager and I handle this big name, but you also have to see these 3 people that are brand new. And, so it's a whole process of watching comics.
3 turds and a peanut.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. 3 turds and a penis. So, and you sit there and you're like, ah. And they play to LA. They play to the back of the room, and they play LA references, and it's a lot of Fountain Avenue and Fairfax. And I'm like, all right, I get it, but that's not what HBO is looking for, and whatever. So I'm watching the show's fine. Steve walks in, and the crowd's tough, and the room's packed, and it's just that energy of a full room, but it's nothing's hitting. And it's just that heavy, that you feel
my whole career. Yes, you're describing my life. Every ship I've ever done. That's it.
You just described my last 2 years. Anyway, yeah, it's like you're walking through mud to get up there. You know what I mean? It's just horrible. But the crowd was so shitty. But Steve walks on, bam! 10 minutes, like a bomb fucking went off in this place. And I mean, he destroys from get-go, from the hello to the, oh, it's you, little buddy. And he's all of it. And he just kills and crushes.
So
and I'm standing by the front door, and he gets done. He leaves. People are cheering. They're patting him on the back. They're killing stuff. And he walks. He stops. And he looks at me, and he goes, 0 for 10, and walks out to the bar and sits down. I'm like, all right. And I asked him a week later, I go, and that night I go, there's no way, dude. You got to get at least a callback or something. There's got to be. And later that next week, I go, what did they say? He goes, they said no. I go, like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah,
how did they say no?
Yeah.
He had the set of the night. It was like a home run. It was unbelievable. I'm not kidding. You know, you've seen him. Steve will walk into any room and make it explode and just leave and he makes it look like it's nothing. He's like, la, la, la. I love the guy.
Why he is not? Why he's not a huge star, and that's what I think. You know, I think in anything. I'm sure there are athletes that had all the talent in the world and didn't get on the right team with the right coach, or they got an injury, or whatever it was. But a guy like Steve, I'm telling you, the first couple times on stage, I'm looking at this guy. He's in a different league, man.
Yeah,
he's just got a talent about him, and he did everything right. He went out to L.A. and I've seen him in movies and stuff. But I just think that guy is just so good.
And it wasn't management, dude. He had big management. He was with Messina. I mean, he had heavy hitters behind him. So I got to think.
That's why I think and he's likable and he's all the stuff you need. I'm thinking, okay, I don't get it then if he's not huge.
He was one of the guys.
I don't mean any disrespect.
Right. No, I understand. But he was one of the guys. I always said when I started out, people would go, it's all who you know, and it's all this, and it's all that, and it's all timing. I go, I think that's bullshit. I think if you have talent and you ride it out, that you'll get noticed. And then it was after me being here, well, that was 32 years later, I'm in the industry, and I've seen Steve and other guys in my acting class. Some of the best actors I've ever seen were in my acting class. And it was after years of being in this business, I realized that's a correct statement. If you're great, you can easily not get noticed. And even if you have the right people, timing has so much to do with it. There's so many things that have to fall into place. I've seen some great, really talented people, and then nobody knows who they are. And you're like, how can you not know this? Like, Steve is the best example. I thought for years Steve was going to be fucking huge. You know what I mean? I thought everything he did was money. And it wasn't just stand-up. You know, his acting, and he was serious, man. He was great in acting class. He was phenomenal. He would take scripts, and I loved reading with him. He was committed. He was professional. He was really good.
He's an artist, man. He's just a true
100%.
Every sense of the word.
Yep.
And then he gets his paintings and stuff out. I don't think he cares. I don't mean this as an insult in any way, but I think he cares more about his art than he does the business. I respect the hell out of it, but there are some people that just go into the business and they're shit. But they get huge because they play that game, and it is a game. You got to know it's a game.
Yeah. See, Steve wasn't a big game player either. But he was always Steve. And the other thing about Steve was everywhere he went, I don't know anybody that doesn't like Steve Seagren. I can't think of one person that's got anything bad to say about Steve. Not, you know what I mean? I can't. So he was always a nice guy. Yeah.
He's just being himself. Well, I think you have an extreme likability as well, and Steve has it. And some people, you just look at them, and you're thinking, okay, I like this guy. And some guys are really funny, and they'll piss a crowd off, or they'll just, they'll audition and say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, they're funny guys, but or women too. I'm not trying to be sexist, but it's just a matter of being right place, right time. There's so many things besides funny.
Dennis Miller burned every bridge in the world till he got SNL. You know what I mean? I mean, there was just, and I don't know Dennis personally. I know some people have great stories about him and a lot that have bad stories, but from what I understand early on, and Dennis actually just kind of comes across kind of swarmy, where you would look at him and go, I don't know if I really, you know what I mean?
I got a story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I want to hear it. Go for it. Go.
Okay, I got time, and it's typical. You always do your best at every show because you never know who's in the audience. Okay. So this was years ago. That.
Oh, well, hold on. I'm losing your feed. What the? Of course. Now you got a story. Now I'm losing your feed. Hold on, Dobie. Oh, you froze up on me.
Story.
Are you still there? Look, your face is frozen. You look like you're in a hockey game right now. All right, just Steve, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Hold on. Just stay there. We're gonna see if I can get it back to refeed. All right, let me go to the board really quick. That's annoying. It is Lembeck. Robin Greenberg, thank you very much. Once again, Robin Greenberg with the save. Michael Lembeck, thank you. Lots of people here today saying hello. There's a picture. Does that Vince put a picture of lungs up there? I don't know why that's there. I got to go back and read these comments. Oh, you back? Okay, you're back.
I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, man.
No, it's all right. Sometimes there's a glitch. Okay, good. All right, I was killing time till we get back to your story. All right, brother, go for it.
Okay, so I'm on stage in front of 9 people, and you do your best, and you walk through it. And after the show, some guy comes up to me and said, "You're not going to believe this, but I'm a talent agent, and my car was I didn't want to drive anymore, and I need a comedian to open for Dennis Miller in Lancaster, Pennsylvania next week. Would you like the gig? I thought you were fantastic." And it was bad weather. I said, "Well," he goes, "Well, it's short notice. I can't get you a plane ticket. You're going to have to drive out there. Is that a problem?"
Right.
No, I'm used to driving. That's what we do as
Right.
comics. So the weather got just horrible. It took me, I was living in Milwaukee then, 8 hours to get from Milwaukee to the Indiana state line.
Oh,
And
geez.
Chicago, Milwaukee, if you're listening, it's 90 miles from Chicago to
that's
Milwaukee.
like a 2 hour, less than 2 hours.
Yeah. So I left, I don't know, 2 or 3 days early because I have a buddy in Cleveland I was going to stay and hang with, so I had an old pickup truck. And so I got there and I literally got to the gig 20 minutes before going on. The weather was that bad. I slept a couple hours at a rest area. It's a whole. I didn't stop in Cleveland. I get there, so I dry shave. Like the French horse shower, horrible. Put your hair back, and I'm delirious. And it's 2,500 people, 3,000, whatever. It's it's packed to see Dennis Miller. So I went on and it just crushed it. I mean, I was 20, 25 minutes, whatever it was. And just, I'm the hardest critic. Most comics are on themselves.
Sure.
When you nailed it.
Yeah, it's good.
I nailed it.
Yeah.
They dug it. I was delirious. I'm walking off stage and there's Dennis Miller standing there waiting to go on stage. So Lenny, I don't know what possessed me to do this. I was delirious from lack of sleep. I walked up to him and I said, "Follow that, you Saturday Night Live motherfucker."
Oh, did you really?
I did, Lenny. I said that, and I think because now let me back up a little bit. Danny Bonaducci lived in Chicago for a while,
right?
And I worked with him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did his show. I did a show on the radio a bunch of times. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a radio show, and he was really cool, and it was at Vernon Hills Zanies. I'd never worked with him before, and obviously, it's a big club, 450, whatever it was, and everybody was there to see him, and I opened, and I walked past him, and I said, "Follow that, you Partridge Family motherfucker," and he just looked at me like, he laughed.
Yeah.
And he said, "You're not going to believe what this guy just said to me." And one thing led to another, and I went on his radio show, and I got to be pretty good friends with him. Every time he asked me to work with him, so it was funny. It was just an inside joke.
Yeah.
And if someone said that to me, I would think that would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
I would
it's a joke.
I like this kid. He's got
he's
got some balls. So I don't know why I said it to Dennis Miller. He looked at me like I just shit on his mother's gravestone, and I thought, "Oh God, I'm so screwed. I am so sorry." So the second show, there's 2 shows at night. Second show comes up, and same thing, packed, 3,000, whatever. I go out there and I get the light after about 7 minutes, thinking, "Oh shit, what did I do?" I was doing pretty well.
Right.
I talked to the stage manager. Said, "Is everything okay?" "Oh, you were great. Yeah, you're fine. Dennis is a little bit upset, so he wanted to get off so he could get back to the hotel in Philadelphia." So I walked in. I was going to apologize to Dennis for saying that. And as I open up the dressing room door, the green room, he's pouring a Coke on the carpeting and said, "Jesus fucking Christ, I said no ice." And he's pouring it out. I'm thinking, okay, this is beyond me.
Oh,
so maybe
no.
I caught him on a bad day. I have no idea, but I'm thinking he just was not into it that day. I feel bad because I enjoy his comedy, but not that night. He hated me.
Yeah, I don't. I've never worked with Dennis. Someone I've worked with recently worked with him and said he was great. He was really a good guy. I've actually heard a lot of crappy stories about him, but recently I've heard some pretty good ones. So, and again, you don't never know. Like when I shot a commercial, I did a commercial with Howie Long, and I was told for weeks by a lot of people that worked with him, he's a dick. Don't even talk. Don't look at him. Don't talk to him. The whole. I'm like, oh, really? Don't I'm not going to do that unless a lot of times you show up to the set like when I did Desperate Housewives. They told us, they go, "Don't look at the girls." I'm like, all right, fine. You can't. Because some sets have that rule, the eye contact thing. Don't make eye contact with the celebrity or the star. And they had that rule at Desperate Housewives. I'm like, all right, fine. I won't. And, but with Howie Long, I got there and no one said shit to me. So I just walked up to him, said, "Hey, Howie, what's up?" And we started talking. He found out I was a comic. And we hung out, and he made fun of Bradshaw for 9 hours. That's all we did was hang out. He was a blast, and it was around that time Terry was doing some sort of stand-up thing somewhere. So Howie was reading me his jokes and giving him shit, and we had a blast. It was the day before Thanksgiving. He was a really nice guy. We hung out all day, and I'm like, there was not one moment that he was a shit, and not just to me, to everybody, the crew. I mean, he was great. He was an awesome dude. So with celebrities, it's got to be hard because sometimes you catch them on a bad day, especially. Even in Dennis's situation, if everywhere he's going to these, he's going from one auditorium to another, and he's tired and he's traveling and you have no idea what he's going through. You know what I mean? So I try to give him.
And you're totally right, and I know that now. But back then, thinking, boy, I didn't mean any harm by that.
Yeah.
It was
Plus,
just a
you didn't
joke,
really,
and I
you
felt
didn't
horrible.
lay a good, you didn't present yourself very well from the get go. You know,
But I said it. I said it
you
in such
led
a
with
cartoonish
follow
way.
that motherfucker. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
You-
but you know me, man. It's
I know.
how you say it. I was just totally mocking myself.
Right.
But I guess I delivered it wrong that time. Now it's so funny that everybody wants to know when you meet someone like that. They want the celebrity to be Christ incarnate or Satan
Or the
incarnate.
worst. Yeah.
How
one
was
or the
how
other.
was Howie Long? He was okay. No one wants to
Yeah.
hear that.
Right. Right.
Who was the nicest one that you worked with, and who was the biggest jerk?
Well, I worked with Katie Heigl on no, what the hell's the name? Oh, The Ugly Truth. I was a waiter for her and Kevin Connolly on a date, and The Ugly Truth. And I've heard nothing but bad stories about Katie Heigl. And she always is in a situation where she says the wrong thing. And for some reason, she's always in the press with her mom. And there was always some sort of bad vibe. She always said the wrong thing at the wrong time. But I met her on the set, and she was fucking great. Not only was she great, Dobie, she was hilarious. We improv'd a whole bunch of shit that then they never ended up using. She was a scream. I mean, she was really good. She was killing me, man. And everything was just quick and crisp and funny and great. And back then I was smoking, so we would take a break. We would smoke a cigarette. And, we would hang out. We were talking the whole time I shot. I talked to her. There was no disappearing. There was no hanging out. There was none of that. So they were great. I haven't had an experience with anybody that was an asshole. I was sheltered on Desperate Housewives. You know what I mean? They they didn't want me to get too close to the girls. I don't know why. Maybe it's my looks. I'm not sure what it is, but they weren't a big fan of that. But every other
clothes back on, girls, they're ripping your shirt off.
But every other show, every single show I've worked on, everybody's been really, really cool. I can't think of anything I worked on that somebody was a shithead. I really can't. And I'm not just saying.
Isn't it cool though when like you said, you expect them to be one and then they're nice?
Yes.
Like I said, Rosie O'Donnell, I thought, oh my God, batting down the net. She could not have been any nicer. Another one I didn't know what to expect was Janine Garofalo.
Oh, cool.
And I had no reason to not like her. I just heard some stories that she could be temperamental and blah blah blah. And she came over to me. Hey, how you doing? You on the show? Yeah. And she was sweet and nice and like I said, funny. And we had a great time. She's great.
Well, I think part of the problem is that all you ever hear is the bad stories. You know what I mean? People love to tell the bad stories. There's very few good stories. You hear a good story, you're like, oh, that's really sweet. You know what I mean? But you hear a bad one, everyone's like, oh my God, did you hear about Janine? You know what I mean? Everyone tells the bad stories. So I think that a lot of people get painted with this bad image, and people just assume automatically the other person's an asshole. All it takes is 3 or 4 bad stories. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, that's going to be worse. So but most of like I said, I've worked with James Woods. He was great. I had a great time with Jimmy Woods, and I mean, everyone I've worked with has been great. So, yeah, I can't think of I was on True Blood, and I got stories on that one too. They were like, stay away from Bill and stay away, But everybody's cool. Everybody's really cool. I think people just want to hear dirt. You know what it is when you get up there, people want to knock you down. So they love to tell shitty stories about people. You know what I mean? They're almost disappointed, like you said, when you don't have one. You're like, I heard that guy's an asshole.
Sure.
Like the Katie Heigl one, I back up all the time because there are a lot of people that said a lot of bad things about her. And she's very sweet, but she always had a situation of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like she was on The Tonight Show plugging The Ugly Truth after we shot it. And I was watching her, and she goes, I did a movie the other day. I was on the set for 12 hours. It was like slave labor. And I'm like, oh, God, I wish you wouldn't have said it. Just the way it came out.
Oh, man.
It came out, and she was just kidding. Yeah, and it was, it was the thing. And then people are like, how dare Katie Heigl compare acting to, and you're just like, shut up. She was just kidding. And everybody got all uptight about it. And she just tends to say the wrong thing at the wrong time sometimes,
Now, do you find, let me ask you this, as a comic, do you find the times, quote unquote, more difficult? I mean, saying the wrong thing on stage, that people are ultra sensitive.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not so much on. I don't have that problem on stage too much because my act is. I've always been in a situation where I don't really. There's a few things I've had to tweak or be aware of on my act. Like on the ship, I'll refer to the Filipinos sometimes, and every once in a while on a ship out of L.A., I'll get and I'll go. The girl said something to me once. I did a joke about I can't remember what it was. Oh, I go. Downstairs. There's 5 guys. It's the 5 Filipino guys, but it's still 5 guys, and that's the joke. And this girl goes, "Oh my God." And I go, what? She goes, I'm Filipino. I go, really? Because so is 80% of the people that work on the ship. Are you friends with them? Or no, I'm just saying you shouldn't do, So I don't have it on stage too much. I'm more worried off stage, dude. I'm like approaching a woman at a bar. I don't know if I can be a gentleman anymore. I don't know what, you know what I mean? If I'm like, you look beautiful. What do you mean I look beautiful? Oh, okay, never mind. I'm leaving. I gotta go.
Yeah. It's on pins and needles and eggshells, man. And especially when you don't need it. You don't need that shit. I'm a comic. Oh, you said this one thing. Well, how about the 98 other things I said that the whole crowd laughed at?
Sure.
And if you're upset about it, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah, it's a minefield.
Yeah, I had this just happened. I was on a princess ship and I made a reference to something. I came off stage and this woman got in my face. Oh, I know. No, I take it back. This was in Milwaukee. It was in Milwaukee. That's not the cafe, right? It moved or something. It was in an upstairs room, and then it disappeared. I think it right? Am I right about this? Because it used to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's around anymore.
No, it's not. It's been gone for a while. But I would work that gig once, and I do a whole bit about my kids, right? And this woman came up to me and got in my face and said, "How dare you make fun of your children?" I go, actually, that wasn't making fun of the joke's me. The joke's on me. Because I'm the idiot, and my kids are smarter than me, and they're in this situation because of me. Because yeah, but you shouldn't bring them up ever on stage. I go, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. and she got so mad at me. She goes, what do you mean? I go, that's because that's what we do. Ever watch comedy? That's what we do. We talk about our lives out there. What do you mean never talk about my kids? I go, that's stupid. And she complained at the club. It was a whole thing. It was like a really big deal. And it used to bother me, but now it doesn't. Because like I'm one of those guys. Like when I write a joke about my kids, I run it by the kids. I always run my jokes by. I'm like, Anna, especially now they're teenagers. They're so pissy sometimes. I'm like, hey, Anna, would this joke bother you? And she'll be like, oh, no, I guess not. And then I can tell it. You know what I mean? But I always run, and I did the same thing when I was married. I ran jokes by my ex. I go, I have this joke about you. Does it bother you? Because I wouldn't do a joke if it bothered someone that I cared about.
That's very courteous of you. Seriously, most comics don't think that way.
I know. I got away with it for years. I mean, that's the way I always did. And other guys are telling me, well, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't censor yourself. I go, to me, it's all part of the process. And plus, everybody's got their own way of working. You know, everybody's got their own way.
You can write other jokes. It's not like you can't write more jokes on something else.
That was always my argument. My argument was always somebody will get so protective of something. I go, you could write more material. You could actually, unless I'm wrong. Have you been capped out or tapped out? I don't know. But, if you just keep writing, you can come up with more jokes. I had friends. There's a comic who passed away years ago, Alan Ball. Did you know Alan? He
did know Alan, yes.
Big, tall guy. He was a guy, dude, he was a guy. You either loved him or you hated him. There was no in between with Alan. He was very...
I heard bad about him. I got along with him fine.
I got along with Alan very well. And he was very... he's a big dude with a purple beard and,
Very intelligent cat.
Extremely smart. Just really clever. Like, crazy smart. But he would never come. He would come to LA and he wouldn't go get a spot or do time. And I go, why don't you go up at the Improv? And he goes, no, I don't want any of these fuckers doing my material when I leave here. And he was so worried about that he would do a guest spot anywhere. And I would go, you can write more jokes, Alan. You can. They're not going to steal your joke. Plus, some of the jokes you get to a point where if they steal your joke, the people know it's your joke. Like especially Alan was very intelligent. He was an intelligent writer as well. So if some schmuck went up there and did dick jokes for 20 minutes and then dropped an Alan Baum joke at the end or an Alan Ball joke at the end, I think everybody would know. I'm pretty sure he stole that last 3 minutes.
Don't you hate it when you're working on cold fusion in your bathtub and the theory of relativity kicked in? Dude, doesn't that suck?
Don't make me hit you in the head with my penis. Anyway, yesterday I was mixing some formulas together. What? My nuclear reactor backfired, and I don't think you have a nuclear reactor.
That's funny, man.
All right, let me jump on the board really quick. I've been doing this whole show, and I haven't said anything. I haven't said a word to anybody. Normally, I comment to people, and people have been saying stuff. So let me get on here. You know what they do? They talk to each other. Michael Lembeck was the name of that director, and Robin.
Okay, I've heard the name.
That's it.
Haven't seen you.
He's a director. Robin Greenberg pointed that out. She corrects me on everything here.
Was that a local show that you're talking about? Was it?
No, it was national. Back then, they had 4 or 5 different shows Saturday morning. Every channel had their own. ABC. Fun
no, I watched
morning.
them all. It must be not one that I watched.
Yeah, it was. It was Captain Cool and the Kongs, and then they had Captain Caveman. They had
that one I remember.
Else. Yeah, they had a couple other cartoons. The shark one. What was the shark one? The shark that was like curly. Remember him?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
But he was basically curly.
Somebody has a pool because of that character. They voice that character. They have a pool in their backyard from that shark.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Can you believe that? Stolen
That's
from the
what
Three Stooges that got paid $9 for all their stuff.
How do you feel bad about that? Same thing with the Flintstones. Basically, took off the honeymooners.
Yeah. Right.
I mean,
Jabberjaw. That's it. Jabberjaw.
Ah, good
See,
one.
dude, if it wasn't for the people on this board, I wouldn't know anything. They saved me from everything. All right. So that's Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw for 500, Alex.
That's Jabberjaw for 500, please.
Sid and Marty Krofft characters.
Yeah.
Who is HR Puff and stuff?
Oh, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Yes.
Johnny Whitaker. I watched TV. I just didn't that one
Witchy
show.
Poo. Witchy Poo. What was the show that had Witchy Poo? I loved
That
Witchy Poo.
was that Land of the Lost.
No. It was no, that was
that
HR
was
Puff
the
and stuff.
Sleestacks.
That was HR Puff. That was HR
Yeah, it
Puff.
was
and
HR
stuff.
Puff stuff,
She was
yeah.
the heavy. She
If
was
those
the
guys
villain.
went on dropping acid. The Sid and
Yeah.
Marty Krofft. You look at
Yes.
those shows now. It's like, okay,
Dude.
Speed Buggy. Okay.
Yeah.
Electro Woman and Dinah Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh,
They're all they're dropping acid.
All right, man. I think we're done. We're done off the board. All right, we're going to wrap this up, man. I think we're going to go. This is an hour and 20 minutes. This is another one that flew by.
Buddy, thanks. Always great to hang with you. It's like we had lunch and on camera.
Dude, I got to have you back. This is really a lot of fun, man. We'll tell. Good luck with the the sports thing, the memorabilia. I hope that takes off. I hope it goes.
Thanks,
well.
man. I'm gonna come down and see you at Rosemont, man. I'm not far at all, so we'll come on, Hank.
Yeah, come on out,
I'll
dude,
see
for
both
sure.
you
I'll be
guys.
there with my
Haven't seen your brother in a
brother.
while either.
Yeah, come on out, man. We'll grab some lunch that week. I'll touch base.
An evening with a
2 weeks.
couple of Schmidts.
There you go, a couple of Schmidts. There you go. Folks,
Thank you, guys. Thanks,
Dobie
buddy.
Maxwell.
We'll
Everybody give him a round of applause. That's my good friend Dobie Maxwell. That is Dobie Maxwell, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think of that, man? Yeah, the boy with the flute. That was HR Puff and stuff. That was Jimmy. I think his name was Jimmy. He had the flute, right? And Witchy Poo had the big motorcycle broom thing. The broom broom. It was called the broom broom. That's what it was called. The broom broom. Oh, it's the best day of my life. Okay, all right, I gotta go. Well, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for being here. That was Dobie. I'm gonna get out of here. If you enjoyed the show, bam, look at that. There's some financial options for you right there. You can support the show. I have no sponsors. We're supported by the guests or by the viewers themselves. Look, there it is again. You can go to LennySchmidt.com/if you can. All my payment options are on there. Also, you can join the Patreon page. There's a lot of information on my website about that. If you go there, I don't know if you know this. You can join the Patreon page. The whatever you can give $1. You give $5. The more you give, the more you get. And the top tier on my Patreon page, you get involved in a writers group, which gets you involved in the sketch show that I produce online, also called Reconnecting Comedy, which will be back on May 1st. So there you go, folks. I am off for 10 days now. 10 days. Next week is spring break with the girls. We got a whole bunch of plans. We're gonna go eat some food. We're gonna go to the beach. Really, we're gonna go to the beach. We're not gonna swim, but we're going to the beach. And then we're going. My daughter has a friend coming into town, and that's it. There we go. That's my week. So you guys, I will be back on the. Let's see, what's the date today? The 24th, the 22nd, the 20. I won't be. I'll be. Oh, hold on. The 29th weekend. Oh, sorry. Hold on. You think I would plan this better? Hold on. I want to say the first week of April. I'm not here next week. April 5th. I'm back on April 5th. That's when this show is back, April 5th. So enjoy the next 10 days. Enjoy baseball season. Will be started by the time I come back. And we'll have a few changes when I come back. We'll see if I can do a new video, new intro, some new software, some good stuff. We have a lot of great shows coming up. Thank you guys a lot. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting the show and being here all the time. And the last few shows have been getting longer, and you guys are here for the whole show. And thank you very much for watching the live stream. It's the best. I wish you guys the best. Take care of yourselves. And as always, can I say one more time? Lame. Do me a favor. Dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produces. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase their shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers, will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to lennyschmidt.com/ifyoucan or Venmo at Lenny Schmidt Comedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.